Time is rolling.
I want to welcome everybody today. Thank you for taking time out of your day. This is How to Use Speaking to Build Your Business, your brand, and your profitability. I'm here with Loren Harris.
Woohoo! Hey, everybody. Welcome.
So today, I think this is going to be really exciting because we're going to take you through a transformation of how fast you could change your life around. So you ready to get going? All right, so what we want to do is a little bit of house cleaning. Close your Skype, your door, shut off your text, your messenger, turn off your phone, because information that you're going to get is going to be very powerful. We don't want you to miss anything. We don't want you to be distracted. We're going to do it really quickly in about 45 minutes. So that sounds good. We'll just keep this thing rocking and rolling for you. So if I promise to give you great content, do I have your permission to take 10 minutes to give you a great offer for you to consider? And if that sounds fair, type yes in the chat. So I'm getting a lot of yes, but you better give good content. Thank you very much. So if you stick around to the end, we got a surprise bonus for you. And I'm not going to even tell you what it is until you get to the end, but we will give you something pretty awesome. People are dying to get their hands on it. Right, Loren?
This is true. This is true. I was on a show yesterday morning, and we ran out of the bonus. And so, yeah, it's a pretty hot ticket right now.
Oh, absolutely. Oops. That was good.
I like that.
You like that?
I do.
From the current slide, I was trying to find something else. But here we go. We'll tell you a little bit about Loren, how he got started, a little bit about himself, about our #1 best-selling book that we published together. And I want you to remember that today is not about Loren or myself or anybody else we talk about. It's about you. And what we want you to do is envision yourself, your brilliance, getting out to the world with your message. So think about when he tells you his story of transformation, that you're visioning what you could be doing to get yourself there. So go ahead, Loren. Tell us a little bit about why we should listen to you.
You know how many years I have waited for this moment. I just want to say to everyone, basically, and there, Kevin, you're on, and you knew me when, and there are people who never even knew that this was something that I wanted to do. Just a year ago, I was reading a book that I had gotten the previous Christmas of 2015, about how to go out and how to share your message, how to best start your way to the stages of the world. I kept reading that book. I'd read a chapter here, a chapter there, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. That book is still on my nightstand, along with one other that I ordered a little bit after I got that one. And the day came where I just said, you know what? I got to quit talking myself out of getting my message out there. I had so many questions. I had a lot of reservations. I had a lot of doubt. And then the biggest obstacle for me was that I really did not know where to start. There were so many different pieces of the puzzle. And depending on where I went for my information, they all told me something just a little bit different, which really added to my confusion. That's just the best way I could put it. But the day came where I just decided, you know what? What do I have to lose? I had everything to lose if I didn't just start. And I'm so glad that I did. I took a chance. The name of the book is How to Get Speaking Gigs Fast, Kevin, by the way. And the reason we're talking about what we're talking about today is because I am actually living proof that in just 8 months' time, I went from never having spoken professionally to, as of yesterday, having booked 44 paid speaking gigs. Barry happened to have been in the very first audience that I spoke at for payment. And it was for a group called Engaging Speakers here in the Chicago area, and a large group of professional speakers and #1 best-selling authors. And so, of course, it was really a very surreal experience, I guess I could say, because I couldn't believe that here I was going to speak in front of all these professional speakers. But it just goes to show you that I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know that I was more prepared than I gave myself credit for. Here's what I love to tell people. If you just really learn how to, Barry, is that you turning all those papers?
Nope, that's not me.
Okay, you need to mute somebody. It's kind of distracting. Okay, let's figure out who that is. Do you see it?
Everybody muted, so I don't see. I only have you and me.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, maybe that's a.
Nope, I do see somebody. I see Lauren.
Well, that's whatever.
Dana.
Okay,
it was Dana.
So here's why you should listen to me. I wish I could just place my hand on every one of you and just transfer not just the knowledge, but the feeling of how your life can change and how quickly it can change. It is what started doing it for me was when Barry and I got together soon after my very first speech. He started talking to me about mindset, about how the 2-millimeter rule that Tony Robbins speaks about is so important in changing the direction of, or the trajectory, if you will, of everything you're trying to do. I want you to picture this. This is what was happening with me. It wasn't that I lacked passion. It wasn't that I lacked a message. What I lacked was focus, because I was like the person who was spinning the plates on a stage, trying to keep them spinning on top of those poles. And I was so busy running back and forth, trying to keep each one of those poles and plates spinning. Because if you don't, as soon as one of those plates topples to the stage and shatters, the act is basically over. I didn't have any idea of what was going on in my audience because I didn't have time to focus on anything. I was so busy running back and forth, trying to keep everything going. Once I started applying the techniques that Barry was showing me as far as changing my mindset, market, media, everything started falling in place. And I do mean everything. I was forced to make it happen because I stepped out on faith and I put bids out there on a speaker platform on a Monday for 3 opportunities, and I woke up Tuesday having been marked hired. So now I had no excuses. I'll be honest with you. At that time, I didn't even have a business card that said that I was a speaker. I didn't have a speaker one sheet. I didn't have a banner. I obviously didn't have a best-selling book. I didn't have the mindset that was needed, but I did have a story. I did have a message. I did have the passion. So the mindset change made everything come together. In the meantime, what has helped facilitate and continue this momentum that started kind of as a fluke, if that's what you want to call it, I believe it was a divine appointment, has been the fact that every time I get some information, I apply it. I find a way to incorporate it into my process. I will tell you this. If I had sat where I am sitting today 8 months ago and said that my goal was to have a best-selling book, to have a lucrative coaching business, to, have an online digital program, to have booked 44 speaking gigs, most likely none of those things would have come to fruition. Why? Because I don't have control over any of those things really happening. I don't have control over the decision maker hiring me or not. But what I do have control over, thanks goodness, because of mindset, is I have control over the process. My focus on my process, what I get up every single day and do to contribute to the momentum that will drive me directly into my destiny, my destination, my goals. And so basically, these are the things that we're going to go over today. And they're the elements from the book. They're the things that I get up and I do every day. You'll be amazed when you start applying these methods, just how quickly things take care of themselves. These methods automatically start removing a plethora of the question marks. You know, do I jump here, over here? Where do I go now? What's next? And when the question marks leave, so does the apprehension. So does all of the things that make us question how far we can go and how long it's going to take to get there. So let's just stop right there with that, and you'll understand a little bit more as we continue through the slides as to how this mindset really makes a difference in your life.
Yeah, that was great. So if everyone can just envision what he was saying in a few short months of where he was to where he is today and the struggle before that. We're going to talk a little bit about more in depth about that. A little bit about my background is I grew up inner city Chicago in very tough neighborhood. I was public school educated amid. You ever get that word, educated? So, you know, inner city. I mean, you should have seen some of the things that we did in our grammar school or in our high school. We grew up around drugs. We grew up fighting. And you have to overcome all those outside obstacles, the noise. Think about today. We have even more noise going on with all the social media. You know, people are Snapchatting. They're on Facebook, they're on LinkedIn, they're on Twitter. Presidents are tweeting on the news all the time, on the cell phone all the time, where you can actually see what's going on, you know, all the terrible things in the world. We have to close that out, protect our own confidence today. And the reason why you should listen to me is because I help people just like you know, from where you are today to where you want to be, in a systematic approach. I built 3 multi-million-dollar businesses. I travel around the country speaking to marketers on how to market. I also help speakers, you know, authors, entrepreneurs, just be a disruptosaurus. Stop, you know, being the person that's making the noise so people are paying attention to you. I'm a 5-time best-selling author. You know, if you would have asked me a few years ago if I would ever write a book, I would tell you absolutely not. It was never really in my sights. If you asked me if I'd ever go to school to get a 4-year education, I don't think I would have done that either. And I did. I have an MBA. I got through all of the struggles, you know, paid my own way, worked in a factory 60 hours a week. People that make excuses in life is just an excuse, and they're just getting in the way of themselves. So what we're trying to do is show you that if we can do it, you can do it too, and it's not that difficult. You just have to know where to start.
Exactly.
And this is where we're going to start by talking about myths, right? It's a myth that you have to be an expert. All you have to do is know more than the audience you're talking to. Right, Loren?
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. The thing that, well, and when it says a book of myths, trust me, there are so many. I can't tell you how I felt every time I busted one of those myths. All the things that I thought that I actually had been using for so long as an excuse not to do what I'm doing today. I can't help it every day. I mean, you guys see on my page how I keep you up to date about, you know, oh, I just booked another gig, or, oh, I'm speaking before Congress, or whatever's happening. You know, that's the great part, but I got to be honest with you. I still sit and look at it all and I go, wow, if all of this did happen in only 8 months, how many opportunities have I missed because I decided to believe things that I had no reason to believe other than that's what somebody told me. It wasn't because I tried it and I failed. I never even got started because I bought into it. So, you know, one of the things that stopped me more than anything was that I just did not feel like I was qualified, because I felt like I still have a lot of work to do on myself. So how am I going to be able to share anything that's going to impact or change others? That's where I was most wrong, because here's what I want you all to remember. Every single one of us has a story. What we don't realize is how much bigger than we are, our stories are. You have already lived the hard part. What I did not realize was that to be wherever I was at that given moment was because I held in my hand some solutions, because not everybody was where I was. There were still people trying to get over those hurdles, still trying to find those answers to things that I had already mastered. So all of a sudden, I started hearing people. Once I got my message, which is like a newspaper, my headline, once I got my headline right and the story underneath my headline matched, it was true, it was authentic because I'd lived it. And then through the techniques of marketing that Barry showed me, he helped me stand on the right corners in my world to sell those newspapers. So now I'm standing directly across from the people that are interested in the headline for the newspaper that I'm selling. Made all the difference in the world.
Hey, Loren, what was that myth that you were saying?
I'm sorry?
What was the myth?
The myth was that I was not good enough, that I didn't have enough yet. I kept waiting until I had enough to offer somebody. It's just like I can never write a book until what do I have to say? But once I started, one thing led into the next, and one thing led into the next. Here's what we don't do. Now, Barry, you were the very first person to ever tell me this. Loren, you just don't know what you don't know. And then once I got that in there and it started permeating and percolating inside me, I also learned part two of that, which was I wasn't giving myself enough credit for the things I did know. Because it wasn't until I had to get them out, to hone my message, to tell people or convince people, decision makers, that I had something to offer. That's when it all started to change.
And the next myth is you have to be a speaker. You have to be a great speaker.
No.
You have to not be scared to get on a stage. That's not true. Because every time I get on stage, I have butterflies in my stomach. You know, I get nervous. But as soon as I clear my mind, I breathe, I walk out on the stage, and what I feel is that I am going to give 110% of myself to everybody in that room, and I have a passion and I care, and people will feel that passion. And what's going to happen is every time you step on that stage, you are going to learn more and more and more, and people are going to connect with you better as you learn. But if you never get out there and do it the first time, even if you make a fool of yourself, the only one that thinks you're a fool is yourself. Everybody else is going to say, wow, I couldn't get on that stage like he did. And I couldn't give a presentation as good as he did. But you're thinking to yourself, you're telling yourself all these myths, all these foolish questions. Get out there and just do it. And you'll get better every single time. It's like typing that first email or reading that first book, right? We didn't know how to read. We had to learn word by word, or actually syllable by syllable, letter by letter. It's the same thing with speaking. It's the same thing with your business. It's the same thing with coaching.
Right.
So give us a really good myth that you think that could change their life out there.
I have a really good one, because I know everybody on this call has had that opportunity and thought that, oh, that's not really speaking. And that is the myth that speaking for free will get you nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
That is so untrue. It is so, so, so untrue. You know, speaking for free really is the one thing that will tie you into your passion more than anything else. It will reconnect you, because you've never really been disconnected. You just weren't using it. You weren't embracing it for the powerful tool that it is. And speaking free, here's the thing I found from it. Uh, I mean, right now, the thing that some of you on my page may have seen the video a few weeks ago where I went to the school and the young girl, I did the thing on the ripple effect, and I, honored this student, the sixth grader, for something she did to help foster children. Well, that school didn't have a dime to pay me. And it did not stop me, because what it is it gave me an opportunity to further prove one of my most popular speaking topics, and that is the ripple effect, that it was alive and well. It gave me an opportunity to show the world again that I love what I do so much that I do it even when there is no paycheck involved. That has turned into, all of the news media was there, the newspapers, all the affiliates, the news affiliates. It's now in the hands of Good Morning America. It can go on and on. My biggest opportunity so far outside of the 44 paid speeches are things like writing a national column every month for a magazine, speaking before Congress in just a few short months.
Yeah.
The things like the example of what happened with the school a couple weeks ago, and then the people that you meet. So speaking for free is the kind of thing that can help you see just how powerful you are, just how prepared you are, and just how hungry the people in the world and the world around you are for what you have to offer. So don't buy into the fact that speaking for free will get you nowhere. It is not true.
Wow, you are so right, Loren. And I'm sure we could talk about that for hours, because I have lots of good story about speaking for free, because that's what I prefer to do, so I could sell my services. I learned the hard way. Loren didn't have to learn the hard way, really, because we worked together, and I went through 8 years of going to tons and tons of training, realizing that every training leaded to another training because you didn't know enough. And then by the time you had all the training, you would forget what you learned. And the difference between you and I is that I'm a digital marketer, and I'm helping many people at one time implement the strategies that I learned. So I go to an event, I pay $2,000, I pay $500 for my airfare, I pay $1,000 for the room, plus all the food. I have a big investment every time I go.
Especially with the food.
Especially with the food, as you can tell. But the point is that I bring home those nuggets and start doing it right away for many people. And over the years, I was able to learn what was missing, go get that training, come back and implement it. Now I have all the pieces put together, webinars, seminars, workshops, everything, websites, branding, banners, you name it, I do it for people. But I learned about the 2mm rule from the very beginning. I make things better all the time, and I never stay stagnant. So somebody that met me a year ago wouldn't even know I'm the same person today, because of all the transformations I've been able to make for myself. When I'm speaking, I'm learning. When I'm writing a book, I'm learning. When I'm helping somebody write a book, I'm learning. So if you get my point, is that you have to, I know Dana's writing her book and a few other people out there. It's awesome, because how much does that change your life? Not only the people that are going to read that book and make a difference in their life. So we want you to cheat so you learn the good stuff without years of expenses and having to endure the pain that we've had to endure. Yes.
I just got to say this right here for everybody. You really take what he just said. Really take that, because here's the deal. What you may not know is, like, for instance, this webinar. This is my first webinar. Why am I here? How did I get here? You see me here with Barry. That's because everything along the way, since that very first day when I did not think I had anything I needed to be considered a professional speaker, to get up in front of those people where he was in the audience and deliver that keynote. But I showed up with what I did have, and then Barry took me by the hand. The next thing you know, I had a one sheet. The next thing after that, I had a banner. The next thing after that, I started a book. And when we did the book together, now I'm halfway through with my next book all by myself. When you come in, if you come to one of these webinars just like this 4 weeks from now, it'll be a totally different animal. Because his point in the matter is you have to just start with something. Everything we've started, when we did our first workshop, Barry's done workshops, but that was my first workshop. The workshop of a couple weeks ago will be so different than the workshop next month even. When Barry started working with me, I remember, I was under a coaching program with him. He was coaching me. And the very next thing I knew, people that I was just simply speaking to on the phone started saying, "Oh, I'm so glad, Loren, that I found you. You're just the coach I've been looking for." And I was like, I never said anything about coaching. And all of a sudden, I had a coaching program. And he told me I would. It happened before I even knew I was doing it. So that's it's like an anomaly. It just starts and if you don't ever get started, if you don't ever step out of that comfort zone, you won't have the opportunity to watch these things take on a life of their own.
Now, real quick, does everyone that's on here, do you understand what we're saying? Type yes, and if you do, and give us a message if you don't. Let us know that you're with us, that you kind of envision, getting started. Whatever you're trying to do, if it's in your business, in your life, just the transformation that you can go through just by implementing some of these steps that we're talking about. The first thing is just think of yourself as that speaker, as that coach, as an entrepreneur. If you're working for somebody, a job I always called just over broke, because when I worked for somebody, I made, when I was young, started out making $6 an hour in a factory. Later on, I was making $50,000 a year. Other people were telling me, "Don't quit your job. You're 26 years old making 50 grand. That's great money." And I'm thinking to myself, no, that's not great money. I want to make 100,000. Then I want to make 500,000. And then I want to make $1 million in 1 year. And guess what? Little old Barry from Chicago, nobody else in the family ever graduated. My dad was a factory worker. I made $1 million in 1 year. Am I saying it to brag? No, I'm saying it because you're just like me. And it's all about mindset. You don't know what you don't know. Some of the things that we're going to talk about today, it's not going to resonate today, but you're going to have an aha moment. And all of a sudden, one day you can say, "Oh, I get what they were talking about." And Loren did that so many times. And I learned so much from Loren, how to become a better speaker, how to think more on my feet when I am speaking. There's so many great things that you can get from other people that's just amazing, but you have to open yourself up, because that maintenance guy is a very smart person. He has more experience than all of us put together. He meets more people than we do. He could give you insight and knowledge like that old Indian chief on the old movies. Every day you're going to pick up information that doesn't make sense today, how you're going to use it. And someday it's going to be your before and after transformation that we're talking about. And all that is articulating the message that you learned.
And I want to say this too. You guys, I don't know how many remember this story from when we were kids, but there was a story called Stone Soup. And, the person didn't have anything, and the guy just came and he started the fire and had the pot of water, right? And then everybody started bringing, "I got a carrot, I got an onion." It's kind of like that. Barry is so right. When he told me back, let's say even as I think like in the first month, he was throwing all these huge numbers out there. Loren, you got the potential to make this much in this amount of time. And I'm going, well, it sounds good. But there was still something in my mind that
Tell him the truth, Loren. You said BS.
Well, basically, yeah. Because,
And
well,
he's
I mean,
kicking and screaming, saying, no,
well,
no,
well,
no.
well, well, here's the deal. You got to understand, everybody. When I stood on that stage that very first time, I thought, oh my goodness, they're paying me $350 for 45 minutes. Wow. When was the last time I was able to say I made $300 in less than an hour, $350 in less than an hour? When Barry told me that was going to change, well, don't be surprised in a couple months when you're making $2,000 or $2,500 an hour. I thought he was crazy. But it wasn't even, what was it before Whirlpool came, like within the next month.
Within
And
the next month.
they paid me $350 for the same speech that Barry heard. The very next time, which was 4 weeks later, they hired me again. They paid me $3,600 for that same hour. Now, I have no problem. But I mean, well, I kind of do, because now I'm at the point where they're saying, okay, because of the way everything is falling in place, Loren, it is not unreasonable that your speaking fees should start jumping up to $5,000 minimum. I've had people walk up to me when I finished and say, you should not get out. And Barry, you've been standing there when this happened. They walked up and said, you really shouldn't even get out of bed for less than 10 grand now. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, right.
And the story about the guy for 40 grand.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Everybody that's sitting here, I'm looking at it. There's 11 of us here. And you know what? None of our stories you can't put a price tag on it. The things that we've lived, the solutions that we have to offer, and the great transformation opportunity that we offer people, it is invaluable. So when you look at it that way, you really get to see, just like on this transformation, you stop worrying about, is it worth it? Is my message worth what they're willing to pay me? Your message is invaluable. They're not paying you for your message. They're paying you for the time away from your family, all that it takes for you to get the training, and all the different things that a lot of people talk about, think about, dream about, but never get out of bed and make happen. Like coming here, investing in yourself, getting all the things lined up so that you can deliver the best version of yourself at any given moment. That's what it's really all about. Because think about this. When you have all these tools around you, even on my worst days, and I can tell you what, it doesn't matter if I just got off the phone from confirming number 44 or not. I still have those moments almost every day where I take my eye off the prize, which is the process. And the moment I do, I start doubting myself. And I wonder, oh my goodness, when's the next one? Or what's next? Or will I be ready? But then my mindset, I go back to just focus on what you can do. Make yourself the best version today and just let the cards fall where they will. And that's what does it, people. It really, really does.
I have a question for everybody. Why, if this is so easy, are most people failing? Just give me a one-liner. Why do you think most people fail?
That's a good question.
Let's see if we can get people to answer it in that chat, so I know you're awake out there. All right. So Kevin says doubt and fear. Exactly. Most people don't implement. I love that. They're afraid to make the steps. Yep, that's so true.
So that's fear again. Yep. And actually, that's like lack of action.
And doubt by Deanna. So here's one of the things why they're failing. They don't stand out. One of the biggest things is that you have to stand out from the crowd, right? What's going to make you stand out? What is going to make them pick you over everybody else? Is that a question? Do you know what's going to make you stand out? Is it a book? Is it getting on TV? Is it you following up better than anybody else? Is it that video you made? What is it that's going to make you stand out? You have to use your personality. Your personality will make you stand out more than anything else. And what you have to do is find the tool that you work best with to stand above the crowd, just like in our picture, where people are going to notice, right? You're the disruptosaurus. You're out there doing things different. You're doing Facebook Live with a clear, concise, consistent, and persistent message. People understand what you do and how to do business with you, what you stand for, your true, authentic self, and you make sure you stick to that. You don't try to copy what Loren does, what I do, what your parents do. Be yourself, make mistakes, and be proud and loud about it, because nobody is going to hold you to that high standard except for yourself. Tony Robbins said, the people that are depressed and the people that aren't, there's only one difference: the questions they ask themselves. The questions they ask themselves. Our mind is asking questions all the time, and we're answering it. I'm fat. I'm stupid. I can't do it. Change your words. Change your life. Get started. Get out of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. That is what is going to make you succeed. And that's why most people are failing, because they're telling themselves garbage. They're getting stuck. They're not getting started. And they're not standing out from their competition. That's all you have to do. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. It's just getting your mindset. It all starts with mindset. When you change your mindset, you change your life, right, Loren?
It's true. And I want to tell you, your background, your backstory, when you put your best foot forward, which is what we're coming into, you know what that foot is? It's the foot that you most recently moved to the front. If it, a lot of people think I'm right-handed, so my best foot is my right foot or whatever. No. It's the foot that you just moved to the front. Because if you keep that progression going, you're going to get somewhere. That's all there is to it. You can have you could be evenly footed and they're both your best foot. But if you just stand there, where are you going to go? I want to say this. As far as what Barry was saying just now, I have found that transparency, just being authentic, like he said, being vulnerable, really being able to put what you've come through. Don't be afraid somebody's going to use something you went through in your life against you. That is your story. You have a solution to that problem now, because that's where you were. People aren't sitting in the audience because of who you were. People are sitting in the audience because of who you are. And that's what you owe this world, to show those who can't get from where you were to where you are without your message.
Amen.
There are people being moved to the intersections of your life right now, because whatever you believe to be greater than you has already set them on that path. If you stay seated, one day when they roll that beautiful footage of your life, don't be one of those people that's going to go, well, if I'd have only known all I had to do was, well, why didn't somebody tell me it was so easy? Well, shoot, if I'd have, no, you can't see around corners. You can only see what's in front of you. And you can only see that if you're not looking behind you. So take your truth, take your story from the past, cut and paste it. Bring it to the forefront. Don't try to start a new canvas every time you got to go in front of a different audience. If you take your truths, here's the best part. Get it down one time. That first time I stood in front of that audience that Barry was in, I put it all out there. Those were my truths. I wanted to see it's either going to make it or it's going to break it. But one thing I knew was not going to happen was 10 years from now, nobody from that original audience was ever going to be able to come up and say, guess what, National Enquirer? Did you know Loren used to do this? Did you know Loren used to be that? And I had to look over my shoulder thinking it's all going to fall apart one day. If they only knew I went through depression, if they only knew that I had a drug issue once in my life. All the things that used to try to stop me from the inside out, now take me to levels of joy levels of being able to help others heal that I never even knew possible. And every time I help one other person, layers of healing help me even more. So I'm telling you, be transparent. Find your own truth, because the good thing about it is you find that truth one time and you hold on to it tightly and let go of all that other crap. The truth is the one thing in this universe that I guarantee you will never change, ever.
And once you discover that magic, what you want to do is you want to release it. And one of the things, that you can do, you don't have to write a book like we did, Digital to Dollars, How to Get Speaking Gigs, Fostering Your Message. But when you start writing out what you want to accomplish and you lay it out in a systematic approach, I start with like a table of contents, because the whole thing about this program today is build your business, your brand, and your profitability. And it isn't that you do it through the book, because the book will never make you money. But what the book allows you to do is start understanding the approach you're taking in your business, and that's the table of contents. So if you go into any of the books and you look at table of contents, that's kind of the approach from top to bottom that you take. And as you write that out, you start figuring out your systematic approach, what you're doing to help people, what your story is. And it allows you to tell it better. So when you decide to speak, there it is. It's right there in your book, and everybody, they could buy your book, but they can buy your services. They could buy your coaching, whatever you do to make money. Your book is the business card. The book is the lead generator. The book is the manual to your life, to your business, and to your success. It's that simple. As I started writing my book, Digital to Dollars, and I don't know if everybody could see me, but what I did is I created this little, all it is like a little board. And I designed the book cover, and for a year it sat behind me on my desk, and it kept reminding me that I had to write this book. And one day I was leaving to go coach. I coach people to write books. So there were 100 people at the event that I was going to coach out in San Diego. And I said, I got to get my book done. I stayed up 20 straight hours and completed the book. Now, for a year, I thought about it, and I had all the excuses. I'm busy helping clients. I have a family, have other things to do, work around the house. There's lots of excuses you can make. But when you change your mindset, you change your life. I sat down and said, I am getting the book done before I jump on that airplane to go coach 100 people and teach them how to become a #1 bestseller, so that I have that book done and I don't have any excuses, and they'll see that I'm authentic, and they can't give me an excuse that won't work because I stayed up. I was like on my third day by the time I got there, helping them until 2 o'clock in the morning, which is 4 o'clock in the morning Chicago time. And I was there helping these people heart and soul, but I was so focused. I was laser focused because I stayed up. I did what I said I was going to do, and I had the passion to help them commit to what they were trying to accomplish. And they saw that, and they heard the story. They related to the story, and by the time the weekend was over, we had 100 #1 bestsellers. Nobody had an excuse. And that's called releasing the magic. And it is inside of you. There's a brilliance waiting to come out, a message to be heard by millions. And you don't have to spend millions of dollars to get there. What you have to do is you have to invest your time and energy and focus in the right place and do the right things in the right order, and you will accomplish anything, and you will do it quickly. And I think Loren is a perfect example of a guy that put himself out there. He was kicking and screaming to a point, and then when it all came together, because that's the way he processes, right? Because in his life, he had 22 mothers, right? He can't really trust anybody. And when he got over that, and he worked it all out, which was amazing that he did it, because most people would have gave up. Most people do give up. You want to be one of those 2% of the people that just breaks through it and does it. No matter where you're at today, it doesn't matter. If you're successful as hell, it doesn't mean you will be in the future. And if you haven't been able to do what you love, it doesn't mean you can't do that in the future either. Today starts a new day, and you have to start with your mindset, and then you have to understand what to do in what order, and it will happen quickly. And Loren will tell you it comes so fast that your head spins, and he's going to talk about dropping those breadcrumbs so it can come for you.
Right. And we're at 15 minutes before we close down. So I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, everybody. But I'll tell you, this was one of the things that when Barry says, you know, you don't know what you don't know, I did not know that I was really, really just naturally good at certain things until there was a reason to be naturally good at certain things. And the dropping of the breadcrumbs is one of the chapters that I wrote in the book. And it is a systematic approach that I worked through until I had it down. It cost me quite a few $1,000, I'm just being honest with you, to get it down. But I was so determined to not, I did not, things were feeling so wonderful. Things were happening so quickly. For once in my life, I was not willing to talk myself out of it. So what I did was I tried to see what the cause and effect of every single stage of the game was. And I learned that it is my job to drop the breadcrumbs to create what I call likability, layers of likability connectors, things that draw the decision maker into my layer, almost like Hansel and Gretel. They dropped the breadcrumbs so that they could find their way. And that's what we have to do. That's what we show you how to do, because it's a stage, it's a process, because this is a relationship, but you only get so much time and space to develop trust, to establish yourself as an expert, and to build and expose the credibility so that all of the doubts that a decision maker has when they're sorting through all the different people who claim they are speakers, they will automatically start seeing you.
I bet you Loren dropped there, so he either shut his microphone off.
I did. Sorry about that. I bumped it. So anyway, that's what's going to happen. You need to just start dropping those nuggets that build credibility, expertise, trust, because now by the time they get to the bottom of your cover sheet or your one sheet or whatever you're using to reach out, the very first thing, it doesn't matter if they have a stack of 50 potential speakers. There should be things within yours that they didn't read in the other 49. Something that touched them in a way that no one else's did. And you have to just only you can drop those breadcrumbs. Only you. And so that's where I think a lot of people drop the ball, is you got to find your message in order to lead people to your message.
Now let's talk about the future. I mean, can you imagine what life would be like if you had financial freedom, you had paid vacations, more time for yourself, more money and time for charity? I mean, wouldn't that be great? And it is possible where you don't have to go to work every day. You go at your own time. Well, now is the time for you to shine. And as Loren says, put your mouth where the money is.
Right. Because that's where your message comes through. You have to speak things into existence. You have to speak your truths. That's the only way. I don't know one motivational speaker who just holds up placards, signs, or someone else does it for them. You have to put your mouth where the money is. And, it's not sitting in your car talking to yourself. It's out there offering and providing solutions to people that are in pain, people that are searching, people that are lost. So if you want the money, then put your mouth out there where it can make some money. And I'm telling you what, I would have never thought 8 months ago when I was about to go and take on a chefing position, when I first started working with Barry, I was like, well, we're not going to have that much time together because I got to go out and find a job. I just gotten engaged and this and the other. We got a couple homes that we're trying to pay for. And he said, if you do that, you're going to keep doing what you've always been doing. And I just trusted in what he said. And
with a little fighting.
But I'll tell you what, I'm going to hit 6 figures this year. And, I never would have thought that. I'm just being honest. I would have never thought that.
So what's next for you? You came here to learn something. You came here for a reason. Tell us, what's next for you?
And Barry, we're right about 9 minutes till.
Okay. So what's next for you? Now, we're going to encourage everybody to raise your standards. No matter what you do, you might be happy and you want to do the same thing. But if you don't, raise your standard. Get out of your comfort zone. Change your strategy. Challenge yourself to grow. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. Get off your seat and on your feet and get on that stage and get paid. Bring in leads in business. Use speaking to be more profitable, to grow your business. I mean, that's what it's all about. Speaking is, when I say speaking, you don't have to get on a stage to speak, right? What you can do is you can go to a chamber event or a networking event. Laura and I go to engaging speakers. He goes to a couple other meetup groups. I go to the Barrington Chamber. There's so many different groups that you could be part of. Get out there and use your mouth to make money. And that's what we're talking about. So if being on stage isn't your thing, it doesn't matter. You're still speaking your way to get more business, right? We're talking right now, webinars, seminars, workshops, however you do it, it's going to be the same. And you're going to have to change your mindset for what you're doing today if you want to get yourself and you want to grow. Because all of us have that capability.
And I just want to say this, that third point right there, I know everybody's looking at it and it's so easy to say, I do that. I challenge myself to grow. Well, you know what? I want to just say this because this was my biggest lie to myself. I thought I did that, but I challenged myself in things that felt good. I challenged myself in things that did not feel, they didn't scare me. I was staying in my comfort zone. Let me tell you something. There's a reason they call them growing pains and not growing tickles. Because, if you're really growing, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. So you have to, if you're going to say and be honest that you're going to challenge yourself, ask yourself, is this form of challenge something I've already done before? And did I challenge myself? What was the response? What was the return on that challenge, that investment? If you didn't get anything from it, was it really a challenge? Maybe you need to do something you've not done before. When Barry told me to invest in myself, I didn't think I could do it until I added up my credit card bills for how much I had spent at eating out, going out to dinner and buying bottles of wine the month before. All of a sudden, I felt like the biggest liar in the world, but not to Barry, to myself, because he didn't see me when I added all that up. But that was the challenge for me. Okay, you know what? Screw it. Seriously, because 8 months here now, I could have kept doing the same thing, and I would have given all my money to Jewel Osco for my bottles of wine in every restaurant here in Naperville. But instead, now I can fly to restaurants in other cities if I want that kind of a meal. That's the kind of freedom we're talking about here.
Exactly. So we talked about, I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on training, and you can do that too if you want. Or you could be like Loren and spend 1/10 of that and be as successful as him. But we put together a program that you're going to be amazed at what the price is. It's going to take you through everything that Loren did, and he's going to give you his perspective. So you not only get me from a marketing standpoint, but you're going to get a person who actually accomplished it. And we want to show you exactly what that is. So stick with us, because I think you're going to be quite amazed at what the price is.
We're almost done.
So we're going to give you 6 modules in this program. And the first one talks about mindset. You heard us talk, if you don't change your mindset, you're not going to change your life. And we're going to show you that exact process of how to do it and how fast you could do it. In the second module, we're going to talk about market, message, and media. I meet CEOs and people making 7 figures that struggle with their message. We're going to show you exactly how to come up with that message, that market and that media, which to do first, how to do it, how to implement what you're learning so that you can use every piece. So the way we deliver this is by videos inside of our program. And somebody just Skyped me to stop saying something. So he threw me off my message. But we're going to have in Module 1 and Module 2, then we're going to have a call to answer your questions to make sure you really understand what those modules were, if you had questions, and if we can add any more value to you. Then you go on to 3, which is establishing credibility, expertise, and trust. And then we're going to go into developing a surefire follow-up system. And what that's going to be is once you start engaging somebody, what do you do at that point? We watch so many people go out there and put a proposal out to, let's say, Whirlpool. And they don't follow up correctly. They don't get offline. They don't get that conversation. They don't have the right email to send. They don't have the right materials to send. We're going to teach you exactly what to do. And then we're going to get another call with you so we can actually discuss it. We want to make you our heroes because as we increase the price of this program, we have to have people that went through it and that have become successful. So if you're one of the first people in here, you are going to get 50,000 plus in value just in training. Believe me, because we want to make sure you're successful. Then we're going to teach you to drop the breadcrumb, how to lead decision makers to your doorstep. Then the tools of the trade, everything that you're going to need for showtime. We're going to have another call and we're going to go through everything with you again. Now, I know you're thinking about what it costs, but I want to tell you something. We have some bonuses because I know if I give you all that information, you're not going to know what to do with it. And these are the things that will really get you the speaking gigs and solidify your business. So we want you to perfect speaker platforms. So we're going to actually show you how to set up a speaker platform where you go out and bid for opportunities and give you everything you need. And every step of the way, you're going to understand what to do next. One of the clients that I had yesterday applied for 50 or 60, she told me, speaking opportunities. She didn't get any. And the reason why, she didn't understand how to use the platform, and she didn't know how to drop the breadcrumb. She didn't know how to position herself, and she didn't know how to follow up. So she's learning that now. And then I'm going to teach you how to use a social media platform in unconventional ways. Find the event planners. Find the people that you're targeting and how to craft that message so that you get results. I'm working with an interior designer, and he followed this, and he got 7 appointments this last week. I got 37 appointments in 4 days, and I'll tell you that story later. But then we're going to give you some templates: a speaker contract, a speaker one sheet, a banner, the presentation. We're going to help you craft the presentation just like this so you can give it to other people. We're going to give you follow-up emails, introduction emails, put together your bio, show you how to put together a press release. I mean, that right there is worth more than this whole program cost. Then you're getting 2 tickets to our live event that other people will be paying hopefully $1,000 for a ticket. We're going to have the 3 one-on-one calls that I told you about. So after every 2 modules, there'll be 3 live calls. And then in addition, we're going to make sure that we get on the horn with you and give you a call so you could ask us a question personally. We can do that because they're both Loren and I. And then there'll be a private Facebook group. All right, if you didn't think that was enough, we're giving you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you feel you're not getting value in this program, we'll give you your money back, no questions asked. Because we're going to over-deliver this program. We are going to triple the price of this program when you're done going through it. Believe you me. So this program bonuses that we offered, we have the 3 one-on-one coaching calls. That's worth $375, and I'm being conservative because I charge $500 an hour myself when I do coaching. The templates are at least worth $1,000. I pay more than that to have a lawyer draw them up. The private Facebook group, getting information from other people that are even on this message or on this webinar, that's priceless. These are smart people. We're going to teach you platforms and social media training, $997, 2 tickets a live event, let's say $497 a piece. The bonuses are worth $2,864 plus priceless. And believe me, that Facebook group alone could be recommendations for business or speaking opportunities. The retail of our program is $1997. We're not going to charge you that because you're one of the first people going through it, and we want to perfect it with you, making you the hero. So if I was to sell it to you at $997, would you think it's worth it? Personally, I would pay $5,000 for this program because I know what Loren's going to make this year, and it's proven, and it's not only Loren. We have 20 other people.
8 months ago, I would have fought you on that, but today I would say, yep, I sure would, because I know now.
That's one speaking gig, right? That's maybe one speaking, maybe 2, maybe 3 speaking gigs. But if you could get 3 speaking gigs in a month and make your money back the rest of your life, we're not even going to charge you that. Right. With this offer today, we're only going to charge $597, and you're going to get all the bonuses. I guarantee you that that price is not going to last long because I only want to bring a few people in right now to do this program. I'm not looking to get hundreds of people in it. What I'm doing is I want to perfect. I want to see what questions you're asking so that I'm delivering more value the next time. I want $1997, and I want to charge you $1497 to come to my event, and I want to sell all the other templates and everything separately. Right? There's lots of value there. For $597, you probably can't even go get that speaker contract done. And we're going to explain it step by step with videos so that you could get first class tickets on an airplane, so you can get a limo to the airport. We're going to talk about all of that stuff. And you're wondering, well, how do I get in the program? You go to www.howtogetspeakinggigsfast.com. Be one of the first people in the program. We have even more surprises for you because we want to make you a hero, help you through this process, just like Loren, so that 90 days you start seeing revenue streams coming in, you see your life change. And this is, no BS. Tony Robbins had something really important that he dug in my mind. One of the most important decisions you can make to ensure your long-term happiness is to decide whatever life gives you in the moment. Use whatever life gives you in the moment. You're here for a reason. If you can't afford the big payment, private message myself or Loren. We'll talk even about a payment plan, but then there's no money back guarantee. But really, it doesn't get any cheaper than this.
And I just want to
over $10,000 to learn this.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Plus,
that's a fact. And I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't even think I had enough money for a box of cereal at the time, but things just kept changing for the better and the better. So I want to say this though: when you go to the book or you go to opt into the program, you're going to see some testimonials, and you're probably going to say, "Well, I thought they said we were the first ones coming in." This program, we worked with people one-on-one.
Right.
They were coaching people first. And that's how your world will develop. One thing will lead to the next, to the next, to the next. So when you see Camille and people that are in my Facebook group, collaborative community, you can go on there or on my Facebook, go on my friends, Portia, Camille, Byrne, all those people that you see on there who are saying, oh, first one out, first time I put a bid out after doing this program, I got hired. I got hired 3, and I got 3 more in the works. You can go right on there and you can talk to them, because these are real people that are in the same Facebook communities with me and you. So you can go in there and they can tell you, yeah, this is exactly what I did, because that's how we worked the kinks out before investing all the money and time into getting this module set so that you could work according to your life. If you're a parent or you work during the day, or you're a student, you might need this program so that you can come and go at your leisure. You can use this when people start coming to you for coaching. You have all of this stuff right there. So I just wanted you to know there are people that you have access to. You have access to them. You can go on there and look at their names and go into my friends and talk right to them through Messenger. And you don't get that when you go into all these other programs that are costing thousands of dollars. You don't know when it says, I loved it, Julie S. Where is Julie S? Hi, Dana. I can see you. Hi. Wave at me, Dana. I see you. Hi. Look. So go ahead, Barry. I didn't mean to butt it. See, yeah, like
I'm going to shut this. I'm going to shut the recording up.